This video is to work on percent problems based on section 7.3 of the textbook. If you're in an ALEKS class, ALEKS provides both an explanation of percent equations and percent proportions. In the textbook, they do it in 2 separate chapters. Each instructor kind of favors one or the other. Some instructors teach both. So I'm going to separate it. There'll be another video for section 7.3, which is percent proportions. But when solving percent equations or percent proportions, there are 3 pieces to the problem. You're always looking for an amount, a percent, and a base. When you're doing percent equations, the percent will be in decimal form. And you'll have to, if you're looking for a percent, you're going to have to turn it back into take it from the decimal, put it in the percent form. If it's in a problem as a percent, you'll use it in decimal form. So you'll see that as we go through. When you're working with word problems like these, it's just a standard problem, not an application problem. It's laid out pretty clearly, so it's easy to figure out which is the amount and which is the base and how to set it up. Basically, wherever the is, you're going to put a equal sign, because is means equals. Of means times, that's not an X. That's times. And then the what is always going to be where you put the X. So let's start. What is an X? Is and is equal. I want 75% in decimal form, so I'm going to divide by 100, and it'll be 0.75. Of means times 80. So I'm going to do X. To find X, I'm going to do 0.75 times 80. You're allowed to use a calculator. It'll take a lot longer if you do it by hand, doing long division, but you could. 0.75, sorry, long multiplication times 80 equals 60. So X is 60. The next one, what is the X? What percent is the X of is times 60 equals 15. So we're used to seeing this as 60x equals 15, just the commutative property to switch those around. Then to solve for x, I divide by 60. That's why it's called the percent equation. We turn things into an equation. So we're going to do 15 divided by 60. Solve for x. X is 0.25 or 0.25. But like I said, we're looking for a percent. It's in decimal form, so we want percent form, so we're going to multiply by 100%, which moves the decimal point 2 places to the right. So our answer is 25%. The next one, we're given the percent, so we have 0.15 because we're putting it in decimal form. Of is times. What is the x? Is the equals 6. So 0.15x equals 6. To solve for x, I divide by 0.15. So I take my calculator. If I can get the shadow off it. My lighting is really bad tonight, I'm sorry. What was that? That was 6 divided by 0.15 equals 40. So x equals 40. So 15 of 40 is 6. Continuing on, again, I want that to be decimal form. Of is times 150 equals x. So this one I'm just going to multiply to get my answer. So 0.6 times 150. Oh, let me move this down so you can see it. Is 90. 0.6 times 150 is 90. So 60% of 150 is 90. 27 is equals what times 90? So 27 equals 90x. Divide by 90 to solve for x. So I'm going to take 27 divided by 90 gives me 0.30. Again, we're looking for a percent, so I need to turn it from decimal to percent form. So I multiply it by 100%, moving the decimal point 2 places to the right. So I have 30% for my answer. There are several pages of this in Blackboard if you want to print those out and practice them. I will put the answers for all of them in Blackboard so you can check them. But I want you to look at a couple problems that are a little bit different because of the way they turn out. So let me see if I can get this set up. So I say watch out for these because these are ones that throw people because we end up dealing with something that's more than 100%. It still works the same. What percent, so we don't know this, times 80 equals 100. So we have 80x, we're going to divide by 80. And x is going to equal 100 divided by 80, which is 1.25. But remember, this is a percent. It's in decimal form, so I have to move the decimal place 2 places to the right because I multiply by 100%. So x equals 125%. This is what confuses people because it's more than 100%. It's okay. And actually, we're saying what percent of something small is something big. So when the amount is bigger than the base, the percent is going to be more than 100. 55 is what percent of 50? So we're going to divide by 50. So I have 55 divided by 50 is 1.10. Again, I'm looking for a percent, so I need to multiply this times 100% to get the percent form. So it's 110% equals x. So those are pretty straightforward. If you want to check out how to do those as proportions, you can watch the other video. The next one we will be doing is doing application problems where you use the same process, but from a word problem, you have to figure out what's the amount, what's the percent, and what's the base. Good luck.